Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. So today I've got my blush collection for you guys. With this I've also included my highlighters, my bronzers, my contours because I don't have too many of them. So you'll see those first, followed by my blushes. But I've made sure to put timestamps down below, so if you're not that interested in highlighters, for example, you can skip through to the bronzers and those type of things. I'll make sure to mention the brands and everything down there as well. So if there is a certain brand that you're curious about that I have blushes from, yeah, take a look there as well. I'm not going to ramble too much. Let's just jump right into it and take a look at the blushes that I have. Okay, so we're starting off with my highlighters, and I've only got 2 of those, so we can be pretty quick on that one. This is one you guys probably know by now. This is my Catrice highlighter in Fairy Dust, and I don't have too much left on this one anymore. It's just a really nice, peachy and very, very subtle highlighter. And then this one, I think most of you guys will be familiar with as well, is my Nars highlighter in Albatros. You see I have a tiny bit of a dip in that one, but I am not using that one too much at the moment because I'm focusing on the Catrice one. Yeah, that is it for my highlighters. So let's move on to the bronzers. So bronzers, I have 2. I have this one from L'Oreal, which is the Trio Éclat Soleil Sun Radiance Trio in Blondes. Yeah, this one is just a really simple and more like bring warmth to the face type of bronzer. And then I've got this one in my Too Faced palette, which is the Snow Bunny bronzer, which is also kind of a mix of different things. And then I've also got a contour. This is the famous NYX bronzer or NYX blush in Taupe that I recently bought. I was in Belgium and they actually had it there. So I decided to pick this one up since I finished my actual contour bronzer recently. So this one is still fairly new to me. With my light skin, it is definitely on the dark side. I have to be really, really careful with it. But I like how this one is a little bit more gray tone, so it works really well to create shadow in my face. Okay, so for blushes, I've decided to start off with the ones that I only have 1 of per brand. And as you can see, I've got 7 of those. First of all, one that you guys know, this is my Too Faced blush that is in my Panda palette. And this is Vie En Rose, which is a very nice pink with a little bit of a golden shimmer in it, which I really, really like because it warms it up a little bit. And I think this is going to be great for spring and summer. Then I've got my Milani blush, which I'm also going to be working on this year. And this one is in Mai-Tai. I already finished up the one in Luminoso, I think. Was what that was called? Or Luminous? Luminous, I think. And this one I'm going to be focusing on this year as well. They're relatively powdery, and this one looks a little bit on the dark side. But if I'm careful with it, I can make it work quite well. And I've got a blush from the Body Shop, and this one already showed up in the tag in which I showed you the product that I bought for the packaging, just because it's beautiful. As you can see, it's relatively dark as well and has a little bit of a shimmer in it, but I think this is going to be great for kind of like more fall time, which I think it was made for anyway. I really, really like this one, and it is really nice and warm, but still a little bit on the more pinkish side as well, which I really like that one. Then I've got one from Pupa over here, and this is from the Baroque collection, and this is just the 01 color from that. This is what that one looks like, so it's a little pillow, and it smells so much like marshmallows or something like that. I think it's really funny. I don't really like marshmallows, so this scent doesn't do too much for me, but it's just nice. And this is a kind of like a warm peachy color, but a little darker than your average peachy shade. Then I've got a blush from NYX here as well, which is a grinding one. So this one is an orange blush, and you have to kind of twist it to make the blush come out. I'm not going to do it right now because I don't want to create a mess in here, but you can kind of see the color through there. This would be more of a like orgasm dupe as well, I'd say. So it is a orange peachy type of blush with some golden shimmer in it. Then I've got a blush that I've hit pan on, only a teeny tiny bit, but you might be able to see it there. Here at this point, for some reason it wore down really, really quickly over there. This one is from Revlon, and it is from the Floral Affair collection, I guess, in Pinking of You. Just a really nice pink blush. I've worn it quite a bit already, as you can see, because the embossing is completely gone. And I've got that little spick of pen. Yeah, haven't used this in a while though, so it's nice for me to see my blushes like this again as well. I've got a blush from W7 as well. This one is just a powder blush in Tawny Glow. And this one is really, really dark, so I have to be really careful with this one when I'm applying it. As you can see, it's a fairly dark, reddish, almost brownish color. It's okay. It's not one that I gravitate towards the most in my collection, but I still like using it every now and then when I'm looking for a more dark shade on my cheeks. Okay, so now we're going a little bit more towards the brands. I've got my e.l.f. blushes and my Sleek blushes here. So from e.l.f., as you can see, I've got three pretty similar type blushes. These are their mineral blushes. And this one is in Coral, which is a more corally type color. I've got this one, which is in Rose. And that one is relatively dark as well, as you can see. So I have to be careful with this one when I'm trying to apply it. And then lastly, I've got this one in Joy. And this would be the most neutral color on me, at least. It's a little bit pinkish, but it has a reddish, orangey, or like peachy undertone to it as well. So this one is pretty easy for me to wear. It works really well with my skin color. Then I've got a brand that I really like for their blushes. This is all Sleek. I've got one of their little blush palettes here, and this one is the Lace palette, which with the blushes Crochet. What is that? Guipure or something, and Chantilly. And this is what that one looks like. As you can see, this middle one again is kind of the Nars dupe. This one is an extremely bright orange, and this one is fairly bright as well, but I really, really like these for summer. I've been using them quite a bit, especially this one. You can see that I've been using it. The other two not as much, but they're so bright, and the Sleek blushes are so pigmented that I just have to be really, really careful with them. So you can barely see that I've touched them, but I promise I definitely have used these quite a bit. Then I've got my other Sleek blush, and this one looks pretty much the same as the middle one in here. And this is my Sleek blush in Rose Gold. And as you might remember, in one of my projects last year, I've hit pan on this one, if I'm able to open it. And that is what that one looks like. As you can see, it's pretty much the same color as the blush in here, even though they have a different name. I can't see the difference in these. But yeah, I really, really like that one anyway, so it's nice to have a dupe of it, I guess, from the same brand even. And then I've got another quite bright one. This packaging you might recognize if you've been following me for a little bit longer, because it is the same as my Sleek Pout Polish. It's from the same collection, from the Avra La Pêche collection. And this blush is in Pantau. And it is a fairly bright orange as well. So as you can see, I've kind of got some quite similar blushes from Sleek for some reason, which doesn't make any sense. But it's just nice to have this palette because they are a little bit smaller, and it's easier to take this with me than like having these like separate blushes, even though they are quite like compact as well. But anyway, another bright orange, which I'm not using all the time, but I still like having this one. And again, I bought it for the packaging. Then I've got two different brands here again. I've got my MAC and my LA Colors blushes. Like more on the expensive side and on the really like very, very cheap side. My LA Colors one I've been working on quite a bit lately, and you can definitely see that these packages don't look as nice anymore. This one, I barely have anything left in this. I had a pink and a like more peachy side, which is still a little bit left there. This was blushing pink and pink mauve, and that I'm gonna have this finished really very soon. And then I've got this one over here, and I don't know the names of these because can't read them anymore there. So I finished off one side of this, and this was just a really dark brownish blush, but on me I've used this one up as a bronzer. And this is again a more peachy brownish blush that I think I should still be able to use on my cheeks. Okay. And then my MAC ones, this was my first more expensive blush. And this is the MAC blush in Pinch a Peach. Not really sure why it's called that, because I don't really see the peach in it, but I guess it's only a pinch, so it's relatively pink, but it leans a little bit more to the peachy side. I do have a slight dip in here, not sure how well you guys will be able to see that, because I've used this a lot when I first bought it and I didn't have that much blushes yet. But yeah, that is the story for that one. And this is another one that I bought for the packaging, not as much the outside, but the inside, because it had little flowers on it, which you can't see too well anymore right now, because I've taken off the embossing on this one as well. Officially, this is a beauty powder, which means you can use it all over your face, but with a color like this, I wouldn't really do it, because I'm just I have a really light skin, so this would be like very much showing up on my skin. So I'm using this one as a blush, which means I have to pack it on a little bit more because it was not per se intended to be a blush. But that works quite well for me because with my light skin I can make this work quite easily anyway. So this one is from a limited edition as well, and this is called Alpha Girl. And then lastly, this is the brand that I have the most blushes of. So this was, like in the Netherlands, one of the more budget brands that you can get really easily. So when I was younger, I bought loads of this brand, Catrice. So the one of this that I've used the most would probably be those two. This one is a bright blush, so I'm not gravitating towards this one too much, but it's just nice to have. It's from a limited edition again, Expect the Unexpected, and this is in Tickled Pink, which is like a really bright pink. I've got this one also from a limited edition, as you can see, bought it for the packaging. This is from the Floralista limited edition, and it is a duo blusher, which is called As Lively As Ever. And it's got a pink side and a peachy side, and also on this one it had a little embossing in it, but I've pretty much worn that away already, and this is just really nice, and I just combine all of it together to make a nice pinky peachy type of color most of the times. This one I haven't used too much yet, but it's a really nice and neutral color, and this one is Peach Sorbet, and it has like a darker and a lighter side, but also for this one I just kind of mix everything together and use it that way. And then this one as well, it just looked really interesting in the packaging. This is also from a limited edition, the Nymphelia limited edition, and this one is in Dancing Nymph. Yeah. And I have been using this one quite a bit actually. So when I was studying, this was one of the few blushes I took with me to kind of use when I was in university. And it looks more scary than it is with the darker colors, because if you swoosh over all of this, you just get a nice peachy color as well. Quite a bit of peachy going on with these Catrice blushes over here. But this is, of course, a baked blush, so it's a little bit domed, and I've worn it down quite a bit. Not sure how well you guys will be able to see that. But yeah, I've been using this one quite a bit, but there still is quite a way to go on this one as well. Anyway, those were all of my blushes. As you can see, I've got quite a good variation between brands and all those type of things. If I have to choose for a brand that I like the most, I know like I really love the Sleek blushes because their pigmentation is amazing. Would not buy the LA Colors ones ever again, just because they are pretty dry, and well, you can see that these are cheaper than the other ones, like also on your face. Yeah, so that is basically it. Those were my highlighters, bronzers, contours, and blushes. I hope you guys liked watching, and thank you very much if you stayed until this point of the video, and I hope to see you in one of my next videos. Bye bye!